That's right. The toilet's done, or 99.9% done. I'll show you the wrap up right now, and then we'll get this in place. Well, that's my brother there. Check out his channel, Finding Mark in Maine. He's starting to post bus videos now. Nothing's bolted down yet, but you can see Mark was turning that. This is my temporary crank, but it goes down through the cover, through the seat, through the board, into the cranking mechanism. While that's done in there, that's the time to make sure that's lined up right. Carefully lift this, not letting that move. Now I don't want to cut this whole thing out. That will draw that shape. Yeah, I'm not going to cut that whole thing out. What's going to get cut out is a much smaller oval like this. Something along those lines. Actually, the back's got to go all the way back, doesn't it? I might have to cut that whole thing out. Might have to. And then the cover I put on might have to just sit onto this. Yeah, I think I might do that. I might cut it all the way out. Again, redesigning as we go. My original thought was to make this hole smaller so I could have a smaller piece of wood. And this is way too big, but a small piece of wood to fit down in there, but sit on top of the lift I left behind with a gasket with a handle. Drop it down on top. You're sealing it all, everything, all the smell down inside the box. You only have a small area back here for your solids to go, so I really have to be cut all the way to the back. So maybe what I'll do is I'll design a cover that fits the seat here, sits down on, and seals it that way. Well, we'll have to design as we go. Alright, so as you can see, I decided to cut that whole thing out because I'm going to change a few things around yet again. I'm going to mount the seat directly down to this board. That's going to give me what I need to teetering around to seal it down. There we go. So yeah, I will mount this directly down to this board, so that'll be sealed, and then I'm going to put a gasket on the lid itself with just maybe 1 or 2 openings for air to flow in and then go out the fan wherever I have the fan installed. So really the next thing I need to do is paint this whole box and then put the hinges on this piece and then mount the seat down. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. I got to sand it up a little bit, and then we're going to get this thing painted. So, and of course I got to fasten the urine diverter up to the bottom of this and a few other things inside. So I stopped painting because my brush broke. So I'm just going to chuck that brush, and I'll continue on in a little bit. But sorry about the fan noise, but I just want to record this because I'm wrapping this up. It's not done, but look at this. It is painted. And I got the top right here drying as well. Once it's all dry, I will mount the top with some hinges, and then we'll move on to fastening the seat down. So anyway, it is looking good. Now that paint for some reason was super thick. I warmed it up and everything, so it's old paint, so it went on really tough, real hard. It went on thick, which is good. I just hope it dries and levels out as it dries. But either way, it's going to be okay. So, so far, that's what we have for our composting toilet. Slowly finishing this project up. We're getting close. So this is what I have so far. I've got the urine diverter in place. Now what I did with the urine diverter, because there's a slight chance I might cut into the barrel here and move the urine diverter back a little bit. That I'm not sure yet. We'll have to test it out. Based on all my measurements and everything I've seen, this should be perfectly fine, but just in case, what I did was I just temporarily mounted the urine diverter with heavy duty tape here, and that way I can move it if need be. And once I get it where I know where it's going to work, then I'll fasten it down permanently. The next thing I do is mount the toilet seat on top. And how I'll keep it in place is I'll just slide this down in. that's locked on there, then I know everything else will line up all right. And I immediately see a slight issue, but I can fix it. I put these hinges on, and I have to move them over because they're going to hit where these hinges need to be. So now, typically when you're installing a toilet seat, the holes are already in the toilet, but of course they're not in this case. So I gotta, and they don't give a template because that's not something you normally do when you're putting a toilet seat on. So I'm lining this all up, got the pole down through here, the temporary one, and I'm making marks on here so I know where to drill my holes to put my bolts through to connect the toilet seat to. Alright, so after all that measuring and stuff, another thing you can do is pop these caps open here once you get it in place and just make a center mark to make sure it matches up with what you got there. It looks like I'm pretty close on that one, a little bit off on this one. I've got the holes drilled and I'm installing the seat support. It's the actual part that holds the seat in place. I don't know if that's how that damn thing, I guess they're designed to move around at top. Alright, let me wrap things up here and then we'll do a final thing, and I'm going to get this thing in the damn bus once and for all.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want any flat fingers, would you?
No, or anything else. Just a quick update here. So these pieces here, originally this one goes on first, and then this goes on to tighten it up. And these are designed to go on your porcelain toilet so you don't break it. And the toilet is a bigger opening there, so that piece I just dropped presses up in there, and this squeezes in place, and that's what makes it really tight. For my application, I don't need this, so I removed it, and I just put a washer, lock washer, and a nut, and I just got these on temporarily to see if it was going to work. Now everything is nice and tight, so I take it back what I said about the seat. It's probably fine, it just wasn't designed for this thin application and wood. But now with this on in its place instead, it's good and solid. So now it's just a matter of getting the seat on here. Show you how this goes. I might have to loosen them up underneath to get these in the right spot, but we'll see. No, I guess not. It locks down. I still don't like the way these lock, but again, it's not going to matter once I fasten down. But that is much better once I fasten down the seat to this. So there you have it. Slow close. Like I said, this one here, this will be fastened down permanently and sealed, and then the other one will have a gasket so some air can get in, but not much. So yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust that a little bit to get it where it needs to go. Does this line up? Yep. So that still is gonna work fine. Now, all we have left really is to seal the seat down, and oh, the last thing I got to do really after that is, oh, just so you can see how you're going to change it, you lift this up and the bucket will come right out. Locks in place right there. Now the urine diverter, what's going to happen is where this lands, I am going to mount a funnel down there, a small funnel, so this goes just inside the funnel, and then that funnel below there will have a tube that goes down to our gray water tank. So you might be wondering, if I have a hose hook to this and comes up, it's going to be in the way. That's not going to be the case. This will go down and land just inside of a funnel, and I'll show that once I get it installed there. But essentially, this composting build, toilet build, is complete. Now we just got to go set it in the bus and see how it looks. All right, I hope it fits in. I have to lift it up over the counter. I miss my camera. Okay. There's not a lot of room.
Good view.
Oh my goodness. Alright, I must be sitting on something. Oh yeah. Pencil. Alright, I gotta say, it's probably a little tighter than I thought, but it's in there. Let's yeah, test it out. You absolutely can take a dump. Let me lift the seat up. I really can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Your knees aren't hitting the front. And
They're close. It's not like you can't use it. Again, you just go and pee and poop, and then you're done. You don't even have to get up to wash your hands because they'll be right here.
get a little pump bidet thing, and
They'll have a faucet on the wall.
well, I mean
Obviously you gotta get up and wipe and all that stuff. That's fine, but it works. All right, let me just show you a quick little overview of it here. So here it is in place. It's gonna be fastened down, obviously. It's got a slow close lid, and this will be glued down when I'm done. But to clean it out, you'll just pull this up like this, and I'll have a latch to hold that, and then you will just take the bucket out like you've seen me do 100 other times. The urine will go down into an additional funnel down in there to a tube that'll go down to the gray water tank. The bottom line is, this freaking project is complete, and we have a $600 or $700 composting toilet for about $60, and it'll work perfectly fine.